What is going on, Jeromes? What is up, Poppies? It is Friday. We are back. We are out of YouTube jail. It is great. So we're here with our weekly Jeromes Friday Vikings Q&A session, bar and grill, all that other stuff. And I know, so the picture-in-picture stuff that we've been doing on OBS, still working out some of the kinks. So maybe my lips don't sync up. It's like one of those. It's like a Kurosawa samurai film. You have killed my father. You must die now. I will avenge him. That whole thing. Anyways, so let's get it on. Minnesota Vikings man 28 OG Jerome. Is O-line or cornerback more important right now? Well, given the current structure of the team, especially with Mike Zimmer, and also you do have Mike Hughes, you do have Holton Hill, so the cupboard isn't exactly bare. Also, you're looking to re-sign Mackenzie Alexander, potentially Trae Waynes. I still say offensive line because I think as O-line goes, so does the team, especially with a quarterback like Kirk Cousins, who does need to be kept clean, as he isn't as well versed as some quarterbacks around the league in terms of buying extra time, sliding around the pocket, helping out his offensive line. And that's not really a knock on him. It just is what it is. So I still say offensive line, notably left guard and also left tackle. Could use some freshening as well. Next up, Noodle 130, monthly Jerome. You can become a monthly Jerome as well. Hit that join button down below. Do it up. Thoughts on Trevon Diggs? Who do you think the Vikings first round pick will be, and favorite barbecue food? We did a video on Trevon Diggs this week. I think just take away the familial ties. He is an extremely solid player, sort of a one-year wonder down there in Alabama. But you do like his size. You do like his ability to press at the line of scrimmage. I think he is more of a zone cornerback as opposed to a man-to-man guy. So take that away a little bit. But just in terms of the lankiness and the former wide receiver-ness in him, he really does remind me of Richard Sherman. I think there is a lot of Richard Sherman in his game. Let's see here. Vikings first-round draft pick will be, I don't know, I actually do think they will take BPA. This could be a spot where, like Mike Hughes at 30 in 2018, there could be other positions of need, but they just take the top guy that's on their board. That could be a tackle, that could be a linebacker, that could be a three-tech, that could be an edge guy, that could be a corner, that could be a quarterback, that could be whatever. Also, favorite barbecue food? You can never go wrong with the brisket. Let's see, if I was going to rank my favorite barbecue foods. So I would go brisket 1, pork ribs 2. I don't know. No. Brisket 1, beef ribs 2, pork ribs 3, pulled pork 4. All right, there you go. Next up, Anthony Rekindle. And then chicken. Is like, yeah. Do you have your own cell in YouTube jail? What do you keep doing to get pinched? Hate speech. Spreading all these hate speech around here because, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, we just constantly get flagged. Okay, sure. I do have my own cell since we've been there multiple times already. Travis, I actually liked how Trae Waynes played this year. Thoughts on keeping him around? I thought he played well too, but also I don't think he played to the level where you're going to feel comfortable paying him $10 to $12 million a year, which I think is what his market rate would be, and once he hit free agency. So it does come down to a dollars and cents thing. Like, do I think Trae Waynes is worth $8 million a year? Yes. Do I think he's worth 10 to 12? No. Yeah. Dylan Knowles. Need advice. LeBron, the Lakers come to D.C. to play the Wizards March 28th, which is 45 minutes away from me. My lifelong goal is to watch him play. However, I want good seats by the tunnel to maybe get his autograph. I'll get $500 a piece. Let's see here. What if I buy the tickets and he doesn't play, though? Should I wait until the day of the game to buy them, or just scratch the whole idea and take a weekend vacation somewhere? Thanks, bro. It's a bit of a tough one. Autographs are very kind of hit and miss. I don't think you necessarily need to buy tickets right by the tunnel because if you get there pregame. Also, here's the key too: have a kid. Like, if you have a little brother or a little cousin or something like that, don't like kidnap a kid. Not advocating that as a channel. Don't flag us again. But if you get in there in pregame, a lot of times, especially if you do have a kid, you can just come down around the shoot around and around the tunnel, and then they'll stop and ink up and do all this stuff. So I don't think you necessarily need to buy tickets right by the tunnel. I mean, it's kind of cool, watch them walk in for the game, halftime, end of the game, all that other stuff. Good job, good effort, that whole thing. But I don't know. I would say take your chances pregame. See if you can sneak in over there, get some cheaper tickets. Get $100 tickets, get lower bowl for sure, and then just save a little money, but certainly enjoy yourself as well. I actually saw LeBron 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, he's a legit freak. Like, if you go into all the discussions of who is the best of all time, is it MJ or is it Kobe or is it LeBron, whatever? They're all great in their own different ways. I mean, because I think Kobe and Jordan, Kobe RIP, were cut more from the same mold in terms of that two-guard killer instinct closer. And I think LeBron really is. He really is a 6'8", 270-pound point guard, and that's what he is. He's much more Magic Johnson than Michael Jordan. He's much more of a distributor. He doesn't really have that closer killer instinct like Jordan or MJ or Kobe did. But I mean, that's okay too. I mean, we've never seen a player that size so versatile. I mean, it's just really amazing. By the way, the greatest player of all time is Hakeem Olajuwon, and I will fight you for that. That's right. Shamar Middleton. Oh, here's why I love Hakeem Olajuwon. So, I came of age with the NBA. So, I was a baseball fan first as a little kid. Then became a really big NBA fan, like slightly before KG came in. And, of course, all the KG years here in Minnesota. And then NFL. But when the Rockets won their 2 titles, because when MJ was playing baseball and certainly not suspended for gambling, Hakeem Olajuwon, Hakeem the Dream, because here's the thing too. So I was an early growth spurt kid. So on our 4th grade basketball team, I was actually a post player. Yeah, it was weird at like 5'3" or whatever. Except I didn't grow much more. So I ended up being a 5'7". So 4th grade I was a post player. 5th grade I was a wing player, and 7th grade I was a point guard. So that's how it works, right? But I remember, as a 4th grade kid, I was just like trying to model all my post moves after Hakeem Olajuwon, the up and under, all that other stuff. Plus, this is really cool, where all the shoes during that time. I used to be a big sneakerhead too, so loved all the Jordans, loved all the Nikes, loved Adidas and whatnot. But Hakeem Olajuwon was with Spalding, and Hakeem's shoes sold for 19 or $20, something like that. It's extremely affordable. And the reason he said he did it is that so that kids that don't come from rich backgrounds, I mean, they can have access to the shoes too. And I really always respected that, especially nowadays. I mean, some of the new shoes cost $200 or $300, which just is ridiculous. I think even back in the day, like new Jordans cost $150. Which is pretty ridiculous, but I always respected that about Hakeem Olajuwon. Plus, he was a legit Mac Daddy at the 5 spot. Anyways, Kellen Smith, do you think the Vikings need a quarterback like everyone is saying they do? Yes, they do, because here's the thing. I don't subscribe to if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Now, screw that noise. I mean, Kirk Cousins is going to be 32. The Vikings do need a contingency plan if he leaves in free agency next year. Also, what is so wrong of investing draft capital into the most important position in team sports? Patriots did it. You saying the Patriots are wrong? Sure. David Medina. When the 3 Stooges are gone, Rick, Mike, and Kirk, is there a chance Kyle Sluter might return to the ship? Well, since he's going to be the starting quarterback in Detroit, I think that's going to be said. Well, here's what going to happen. Here's complete Armageddon. So Teddy sees a massive opportunity with the Bears because Mitchell Trubisky Ponder ain't it. So he signs there for agency. And then Kyle Sluter, Matthew Stafford isn't fully healed up. Also, he's been the talk of some trade speculation, ? But Kyle Sluter with a complete training camp and against David Bling Blang Blau and the corpse of Matt Stafford ends up winning the starting Lions job. Teddy wins the starting Bears job. And then 4 times a year, the Vikings just get kicked in the dick of what could have been. And, of course, us Minnesotans, we love the whole passive-aggressive, I didn't tell you, but I told you so. I'm not saying I just told you so. By the way, I will be insufferable every single Bears and Lions game, every single touchdown that Sluter and Teddy Jerome Bridgewater throw. I'll be like, as we bring back Gus Frerotte for the 14th time. Or Jake Browning is just out there chucking it all over the yard at 5 yards a clip, whatever. Chris, A very light question, but I missed the season finale against the Bears. How did Drew Samia and Oli Udoh look? Any hope in their way going next season? Assuming that, well, they didn't necessarily blow the ceiling off the roof. But also it was their first game action. It is just good to see them out there, and I do have high hopes for them in year 2. So second year in the Dennison scheme yet again. I think that will really help getting some footing under them because I really believe in Samia. I think Udoh is a very intriguing long-term prospect, especially if you want to put Udoh at right tackle and flip Brian O'Neill to left tackle, which could be a big commitment because also the time you do that, O'Neill will be up for a contract, so then you have to pay him as a left tackle. And then also I'll put Armon Watson there as well. 6-round pick out of Arkansas. Really liked what we saw from him when he was on the field in the short bursts. Zach Hazley is traded for one of the following: Jordan Love, Trevon Diggs, Tristan Wirfs, or Mekhi Becton. So Becton is intriguing. Becton's like 6'9", 450 pounds. He certainly would not be a scheme fit. And also, I think he would have to play right tackle in the NFL. So that's the quandary with the Vikings too, since Brian O'Neill has become one of the better right tackles in the league. Tristan Wirfs is sort of in that same vein, but also I think Wirfs could play guard a little bit better than Becton. And also I think Wirfs, if you want to try him at left tackle, I think he'd have a slight edge over Becton there, even though he played right tackle at Iowa. Diggs, I'm fully in on. But also I think he could be there at 25, depending on how the Underwear Olympics go. And then Jordan Love. Jordan Love is going to be an intriguing prospect. He could go in the teens. He could fall into the middle of the second round, where, I mean, are they going to hold his lack of production his final season against him? He didn't really have a great supporting cast at Utah State. Of course, I think he's going to look really good at the Combine as well as his pro day. But, I mean, there's a lot of physical tools there that you can easily bet on. I think Jordan Love is going to be sort of a less polarizing Josh Allen in that aspect, where he's got all the physical tools, didn't necessarily have all the production that you'd want in college. But, I mean, given the choice, I would probably trade up for Wirfs in this spot. Yeah, because I think Wirfs is going to be a legit monster. But then, like we said with Becton, it's going to be the same issue of that right tackle spot. Bad Dog the Legend. Should we pursue Gerald McCoy, considering it'd make our D-line the best in the league? If he's relatively cheap, I mean, sure. And I mean, I was in on Gerald McCoy once the Bucs were clear that they were trying to get rid of him. But yeah, if he would take $6 million a year, somewhere in there, I think could be his market now. Probably a little bit more. Sure. Power Viking. We need to draft Winfield and Thaddeus Moss. Their fathers were great with the Vikings, and they'll be great too. It's legacy. I'm sorry, Herb Smith Jr. Well, here's the thing too. Beyond the nepotism, they're just two great players as well. And I think Winfield Jr., I do like the versatility that he brings to the table. He can play a little bit of cornerback as well as be involved in the return game. But also, do I see him as like a regular, traditional, every down starting safety? Probably not. I do see him more as a sub-package guy, playing a lot of slot cornerback, sort of in that Honey Badger mold. I just think he's a great player overall. Wouldn't mind seeing him in purple, no matter who his dad is. As well as Thaddeus Moss, where Moss didn't necessarily have all the big college production. But I'm trying to think of a physical freak from LSU who didn't necessarily have all the college production that you take a mid-round flyer on. I think Moss could be in that round 3, round 4 sort of area, and he is an intriguing, big-bodied athletic target for the red zone. So we'll see. Caden Oatley with Kubiak calling plays now. Does the offense have a chance to be explosive if the Vikings fix the O-line issues? Hopefully they don't fall into the same trap as last season, where Stefanski, you saw moments of brilliance of Stefanski, and I think the Browns saw through that as well, especially in that October. But then also when it got down to crunch time, I think that Mike Zimmer had a little bit of undue influence on the offense in terms of play calling, in terms of making it pretty vanilla, pretty basic. Now, will Zimmer have that same influence over Gary Kubiak, who former head coach, former Super Bowl winning head coach? I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't think he'll be easily as pushed around as a Kevin Stefanski. Sion Agona. Should the Vikings draft Nene Muti for left guard, or do you think left guard would be best take? I haven't done a lot of research on guards yet, but I will do that, and we'll revisit this question at a later date. Matt Fischels. 2021, Gary Kubiak head coach, Dom Capers DC. If things don't go well this upcoming season, Zimmer hiring his replacements. Yeah, I think it really is. It's sort of like when the Roman Empire, the traditional Roman Empire, fell because they just outsourced their empire out to oblivion, where they had all these auxiliary troops starting becoming the legions and defending Britannia and Germania and Spain and the East and all that stuff. And then eventually they're just like, oh yeah, we're not in power anymore. Even though, the Senate still meets, even though we have no power. It's fitting. Anyways, yeah. Mott's for life is a monthly Jerome. Become a monthly Jerome as well. Hit that join box. When you hit up the casino, what are your go-to games? It's all poker. It's 99.9% poker. If sometimes they'll give out free plays for blackjack, so I'll just do that up and I'll just. Here's some. So they'll give you like a $10 or $50 free play for blackjack, and you have to redeem it at the table, and you can't just cash it in and take the chip. So you actually have to play a hand. So I'll just pile it all in, and then hopefully we get a blackjack or something like that. Or here's the thing, dude. If you're gonna play one hand of blackjack, like I don't like busting myself, even though yes, it is technically sound to do so. But I don't know, like even if I have a 13 against a face card, it's like, oh man, I don't want to bust. I want to give myself a chance. Like maybe you have 16 and you'll bust, and then I stay on 13, and of course they roll over like a 19. So it's like whatever. But no, I don't really get into pit games. Have played baccarat or craps is really fun if you get a full table. I mean, just the energy of that when someone's on a hot streak, it's really a lot of fun. But it's pretty much all poker. Sometimes if we're out with friends and we're having a couple beers, we might play a little low limit blackjack, but that's really about it. See here. Josh inside with Gary Kubiak now the OC. Do you foresee more or less creativity in play design compared to what we saw in 2019? Well, I mean, Gary Kubiak, it wasn't really known as like the riverboat gambler or just completely outside the box. He's really rudimentary meat and potatoes. I mean, look at his Texans teams. A lot of just run the football, Aaron Foster, controlling Matt Schaub. And then in Denver, I mean, that was Peyton Manning's offense that he just sort of rubber stamped. So I don't really see that. I think some of the sparks of creativity were credited to Kevin Stefanski and should be, but also you do have an OC who was a Super Bowl winning head coach, so that's worth something. Connor Keck. What's the most important position we need in the draft? Most important position for agency? I think they're both one the same, and in no particular order. They're offensive line, notably left guard, to a degree left tackle, 3 tech, and cornerback. Ryan Volkert. What round do you think we should start looking for a defensive tackle? Well, I mean, if the guy at the top of your board is there in round 1, take him round 1. Like Javon Kinlaw, South Carolina, physical, absolutely freak beast. If he's there at 25, which he's going to test out of the roof, so I'm a little concerned that his draft stock is going to rise. But also, who doesn't look good at the combine? Well, a couple guys. Orlando Brown Jr. Wouldn't we like to have Orlando Brown Jr.? Anyways, Gage Sandin. We should take a corner in the first round because it's the most needed position for the Vikings right now. I would tentatively agree, pending on what happens in free agency. Jeffrey, and also if who's retained, Mac Alexander, Trae Waynes, they cut Xavier Rhodes. Hope they do. Is Drew Samia ready? I hope so. I think Drew Samia is going to be the dark horse coming into training camp at that left guard spot. I think he really could make some noise there. Youth X Suicide. Do you think Cousins would do better with a better O-line? Well, you've seen what he can do in spurts with a good O-line here in Minnesota. I mean, October. Also, you look at what he did in 2015, 2016 in Washington when he had one of the best offensive lines in the league, where he had peak Trent Williams and Brandon Scherf and Morgan Moses and one of the best O-lines in the league. He was legit. He was that. Also, helps that you have Sean McVay as your QB coach. But yeah, Ty Smith. Would you rather move O'Neal and Klein to left side and put Samia and Udo on the right side? Who's starting offensive line week 1, 2020? Not really down for all those moving parts. Starting offensive line for 2020. Left tackle, Andrew Whitworth. Guy can dream, right? Left guard, rookie TBD. Potentially left tackle of the future. Center, Bradbury, or right guard, I almost said Samia. Right guard, Josh Klein. Right tackle, Brian O'Neill. Drew Smith, after the season, would reloading with new coaches, front office, and younger players be the wise move or rebuild? Because I think it would. Well, I mean, the Vikings core is starting to age out a little bit. Like, even Harrison Smith is getting sneaky old, but also you look like Linval and Everson and Xavier Rhodes. So, to a degree, there could be a changing of the guard. And also, I think Spielman and Zimmer go into the season firmly on the hot seat. I mean, Zimmer's brought in his interim replacements, whether it be Capers, whether it be Kubiak. I mean, yeah. And then also the Vikings, I think one of the pitches to keeping George Payton in the fold and not letting him or having him decline, the Browns job or take his name out of consideration is that, hey, Dirty, baby, we got your job if Spielman F's up one more year. Yeah. Landon Miller, or Nathan. It's 13 years, a normal amount of time to go to the store to get cigarettes. Your dad's coming back, man. He's coming back. Landon Miller. Is it weird? Like, that used to be the old trope, but nowadays it's like, hey, dad's going out to get a new cartridge for his Juul. Landon Miller. Do you genuinely think that Marshawn Diggs can be there at 25? And if so, the Vikings take him? I think he means Trevon. Where do you think Teddy will land? Where should he land? And other free agents. So Trevon Diggs, if he's there at 25, I think he certainly could be there. Would love to pick him up. Remember, Marshawn Diggs was the safety from UAB. That was a UDFA tryout last year. Also, Stephon Diggs, I think that's his half-brother. Yeah. Where will Teddy land? Well, I mentioned Chicago earlier. I think that's a little bit less likely. But also, now Miami is a pretty damn attractive location. Because remember, last offseason, Teddy had an opportunity to sign with the Dolphins, be their starting quarterback, but he saw that they were going to be an absolute train wreck, hot mess. But now, I mean, that Miami team was pretty damn feisty. I think Brian Flores is on track to become one of the better coaches in the league. I think he is a leader of men. I really believe in what he's doing down there in Miami. Also, they do have 3 first-round picks. That's a lot of sexiness. Also, I think they have an extra second-round pick as well. So now, I mean, if Teddy wants to go down there, by the way, they re-signed Devontae Parker. Did you know Teddy played college with Devontae Parker? And also Florida, Miami, or it is home to Teddy. Also, no state income tax. That also really helps with the dollars. So I think Miami will be a really damn sexy location for Teddy at this point. All he has to do is beat out Ryan Fitztragic. Cesar Augustus, looking back, should we have gone with a more mobile quarterback rather than sign Kirk Cousins? At that time, I think it was the best choice. Case Keenum, I think it was a flash in the pan. He still had questions about Teddy's knee, and Cousins was the safest option at that point. Eric Mo, would you rather sign Joe Thuney or Scherf to the Vikings or retain Anthony Harris? I would pick Thuney, even though, it's pretty close, but Thuney just based on health. Or retain Anthony Harris. I'll sign Thuney. Yeah, because they're probably going to command about the same amount of money unless Harris signs for 10 or less. That sucks. Trey Barr, Washington, try to get Scherf for Trent Williams. Well, Trent Williams has 1 year left on his deal, and there's no guarantee money, so I actually don't think you'd have to give up that. You'd have to give a Barr to Trent Williams. Plus, he'd have all that dead cap on Barr's contract, so yeah. Tori Hansen, how pissed would you be if the Vikings don't draft a quarterback, and was the likelihood of not drafting one? Actually, it's pretty high because Spielman's MO of not drafting a quarterback outside the first round, because the last time the Vikings drafted a non-first round quarterback was in 2008, 5th round, John David Booty. So I'm not holding my breath, although it makes a lot of sense, but also made a lot of sense last year too. Max Kalenberg, thoughts on taking a linebacker with the first pick and moving Barr to edge crate cap by not re-signing Griffin and cutting Linval? Well, making him a full-time 4-3 defensive end, as well as I don't necessarily think there's any linebackers in the first round within Viking striking range, which would be a one-to-one replacement for what Barr does as strong side linebacker. Jabrisky, thoughts on how free agency goes for the Vikings? Will anyone surprising get cut or traded? I think Linval could be a surprise cut. I guess not so surprising. I think Reef is definitely a pay cut or restructure candidate, if not an outright cut. I think Xavier Rhodes is gone. I think that's probably it, because Everson Griffin technically is a free agent right now. Yeah, I think that's it for surprises. Brady Akenar. Anaker? Sure. Will the Vikings bench Cousins if he doesn't perform well in 2020, assuming we pick up another? No, I think he's guaranteed to start all 16 games if he's upright. Trubisky again. Oh, no, that was a reply. Blake Kettler, who's on your all-decade team for the Vikings also? Who are some of your favorite songs of the 10s? Skull. Well, I don't have the team up in front of me. I guess it'd be from the aughts. Would you put... I'll put Keenum. Just because that one magic year. I'll put Keenum. But Dal... No. Yeah, you got to put Adrian. Because Adrian led the league in rushing. Dalvin had one good year. Diggs and Thielen, Rudy, Joe, offensive line in no particular order. Garrett Brett and no positions. Garrett Bradbury, Brian O'Neill, Joe Berger, Mike Harris for a hot second, and 2 years of Mike Remmers at right tackle. Defense. Is Jared Allen still here? Yeah. Jared Allen, Everson, B. Rob, no particular order. Linval, Sheldon Richardson for that 1 year. Barr, Kendricks. Greenway? Yeah, Greenway. Xavier when he was at his peak. Trae Waynes when he was at his peak, I guess. Harrison. There you go. Favorite song from the aughts. I love Kesha. Jake Hack, do you think the Barr contract looks really bad now if he had a pretty bad year? Actually, I think he had a pretty damn good year. I think it's a pretty solid contract all around. Spencer Vox, although he is a restructure candidate. Do you like Trevon Diggs? Yeah, we love Trevon Diggs. Yeah, all the questions. Zach Bellis, where the hell were you? You know where we were. Boss Hogs, have you ever been to Hawaii or tried Hawaii food? I haven't been to Hawaii. That's certainly on the checklist. The wife definitely wants to get out there. Hawaiian food, roasting a whole pig. Come on, babe. Or poi. Come on. A little poke bowl. It's all good. How many? All of them. Sophia Leonard, draft O-line or look for O-line help in free agency? Not both. Especially since free agency comes before the draft. Once you free up some cap space by moving some players or restructuring some contracts, I think you could be a player in free agency. But then also always be looking into the draft. DOC, what spices do you put in our steak? 12 mesh black pepper and kosher salt. That's it. Sometimes just salt. Jack's J Domain, what's your favorite restaurant? Well, in terms of like locally, discounting some high-end stuff. Manny's and Murray's are some of the best places here in the Twin Cities. I'll just run through a list. Screw it. So, favorite bar and grill, Blue Door Pub, obviously. Hello. Also, the Nook is really amazing. Wings. We just had the other night wings from a place called Wing Joint in Blaine. Phenomenal. Friggin' phenomenal. Amazing. Also, great wings. Muddy Chicken in Burnsville. Go there. See here. Hoban for a Korean. That's in Egan. Cameron Bay in Burnsville. Phenomenal. Some of the best pho I've ever had. Also, some of the best spring rolls. And also, really nice, family-owned establishment. It's great there. See what else there. Oh, Revival for fried chicken. It's phenomenal. So, here's my dirty little secret. So, we'll go to Revival, and we'll get the Nashville hot chicken. And we'll get some of the brisket, and for my kid, my 4-year-old daughter, she loves chicken nuggets, so we'll get the nugs, which is just white meat chicken fried up in their beautiful stuff, and you get like a big bowl of it, and she has like one, and I'm just like yoink, because with fried chicken it really is all about the batter, and Revival has some of the best batter there is there. It's here. Vegas recommendation. So Holstein's in Cosmo is just a great, burger bar. Great milkshakes too. If you want to go high end, like Picasso in Bellagio, when they have guys come around and scrape up crumbs with with a legit made crumb scraper with gloves on, yeah, that'll do. As well as if Tom Colicchio's Craft Steak is still in MGM, that's a place to go to as well. And let's see what else here. Oh, one of the best buffets is. I know that the Bellagio buffet gets a lot of love, except the lines for that is always insane unless you're diamond. But go to the Caesar's Palace Bacchanal buffet. It's phenomenally great as well. Last one. Eric Normal, do you think the Vikings should pursue Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts? Yes, I do. All right, that's it. That is the weekly Jerome's Friday Q&A. Thanks for coming along. Love you guys. Skull, production value.